The pastor of disaster, Mr. Eric Barfell.
Eric!
Hey. I'm sorry to mess your intro up. I had it all planned.
No,
it just kind of hit me from nowhere. I do like that name though, the pastor of disaster. How do you feel about that?
I like that too. That is good. That's good.
It's kind of like a mean thing because you're a hardened cyclist, but also you do have the occasional mishap. Do or do not on Zwift?
Oh, I sure do. Sure do. More often than not, really.
What's happened? What happened there?
Tell him, Rob.
There was I do remember the one time where you prophesied that the route was flat, and you couldn't possibly get dropped, and then you encountered what used to be known as Alpha to Tempus, but rather ironically known because it's only a little bump, but is now known as Barfell's bump because you didn't see it and you just got dropped.
Yeah, I quite literally got the whole race theme is flat is fast. A few months ago, I'm doing all these B races. I get dropped on the slight incline of a hill. It's not even a hill. Oh man, there's no coming back from it. You know, you got dropped on the slight incline.
You even had the picture of a pancake, didn't you? Of the
Oh yeah, I had the whole thing. I'm like, oh, this is so flat. We're going to be moving the whole time. It's going to be a breeze. We're going to have like record speed, blah, blah, blah. I got dropped. the hill.
Yeah, I didn't see that.
On the hill.
The name's catching on as well. I reckon in 50 years' time, people on Zwift will be referring to it as Barfell's Bump and have no idea why. Why is it called Barfell's Bump?
That's a great name. I like that one.
Yeah.
So... One of my many mishaps in the world of Zwift. So,
how did you get into? Were you much of a cyclist before you joined Zwift?
Oh yes, definitely. I got my first bike. I mean, I had a bike when I was a kid, and then when I was in the 10th grade, I got a Trek hybrid bike. Loved that thing. Put a lot of miles on that thing. Took it with me to college, took it with me. I moved across the country a couple times. I worked in some parks. I got my first road bike a few years ago. It was 2018, and it was a Cannondale CAD 8. It was a 2009. Sweet little bike, actually. Aluminum bike. It was just a ton of fun. And then I kind of need something a little bigger, being as tall as I am. So I got a 58, and I found all these bikes used. So I got some other Trek aluminum something 1.2, 2.1, whatever it is. Love that. Put a lot of miles on that. And then a couple years ago, I've just slowly upgraded over time. But yeah, Ben just really enjoyed cycling as a hobby, recreationally. Never got into racing until just a couple years ago. Mm-hmm. I did my first ever race, just tried my legs at it. I got dropped in that too. I'll have you all know. And when I first did Zwift a couple years ago, I had just a wheel-on trainer, I think it's called. It's not smart. Nothing was high-tech about my setup whatsoever.
Yep.
And I absolutely hated every second of it. Absolutely hated it.
How tall are you, Eric?
I am 6'2".
Quite good.
So,
yeah. So that's.
So I was digging through your YouTube archive. So did the cycling bit, was that just did it start as an offshoot, or how did you do all the YouTube stuff?
No, that's a good question too. A year and a half ago, my wife and I, we started a YouTube channel together, just doing some couple of vlogs, some just random videos, and life in Rock Creek, which is ever so riveting. And then we kind of switched gears and we did a challenge. We kind of challenged ourselves to make a video a day. And I was going to follow a vegan diet and do a structured Zwift workout every day during the month of January. And part of that challenge was to make a video every day. So she was kind of helping me with that. And from there, it kind of switched to, that was January 2022, I believe. And from there, it switched to just like cycling content.
And how do you find it? Like, what's been your experience so far with the YouTube channel?
So far so good. It's been really enjoyable to do, especially starting it with my wife. Like that was just a lot of fun. And then once I narrowed it, but it was so broad, just a couple's vlog. It didn't have a real purpose. It didn't have a real goal to it. But when you switch it over to cycling, it was a lot more niche. And then you get into Zwift, which is all the more niche. And so they're a very targeted audience, I suppose.
Yeah, it's not for.
And honestly, I found even doing some outdoor content in recent months, there's not a big audience behind it because they're also accustomed to Zwift kind of stuff. So, in a sense, I feel like I've kind of put myself in a rut as far like if I want to only make Zwift stuff, which I don't, to be honest. I don't know. I might have a real challenge ahead of me to grow an audience doing anything beyond Zwift. So far I've found.
Yeah.
But there are big cycling channels out there, aren't there? I mean, not particularly Zwift ones, but you're doing those cool crit races. They're as cool as. Does people not like watching them?
Yeah, and if you're able to do a crit every weekend, all the power to you. And I mean, you can make a couple videos a week. I can't. I do a couple races a year, so my outdoor stuff's not going to carry me. I have a lot more. I don't know. So it's a whole animal. I found it to be a lot of fun, though.
What about with those crit races? Do you find there's much crossover? Like, do you learn much from Zwift carries over into the crit races, or vice versa? Is there any crossover there, or much crossover?
Yes and no. Definitely the fitness aspect, absolutely. That might be about as much when to really step on it, when to be in the hoods, when to be in the drops, when to ease up, when to really throw the power down, versus there's just no bike handling in Zwift. Yeah. And that is a very big portion. Not only that, riding side by side, riding elbow to elbow with guys on either side. It's just apples.
How scary do you find it?
Say it again.
How scary do you find it?
The first few times, it's pretty scary, not gonna lie. But even sometimes you have to learn the course, and once you learn the course, you learn how it flows, where people are gonna hit the brakes, where people are gonna really put the power down. You just learn it, so you build a lot of confidence in even doing a couple laps of the course. But if you're not accustomed to doing group rides and drafting and having somebody ride on you and hearing people breathe real loud, down your neck and everything, it can definitely be intimidating. Absolutely.
I bet. We've actually got your crit keyed up here. I don't know if you can see it that well.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we'll just play this and talk us through it, because I found this fascinating. This was a great video you did.
It's not that nutty on this final lap. Nothing really changed. We're single file, we bunch up, there's a bit of a surge, and then we all kind of sit up and ease up. I guess I expected a lot different, to be honest. And then all of a sudden, somebody starts yelling. I don't even know who it was. So people started getting a little squirrely here. Max being one of them. Look at that. He stands up and he goes. We have over 500 meters to go, and he lets one rip, and he goes for it. I was like, you know what? It's still too early. I'm gonna find a wheel. I gotta stay behind somebody. It's not this guy. I want this guy right in front of me, the one I was behind earlier. So I try to stay behind him. He freewheels. I have all this momentum, so I go around. Frazier tells me to send it, and that was just my cue. That was just my permission to go for it. Yelling at Max it's like, oh man, I don't want to get boxed out here. Dude, I just go. It is an absolute drag race to the finish line to 10 straight ahead. The CCA guy, I see him kind of die out on his sprint, and I give this guy everything I've got. I don't know who got it.
Okay.
Kaboom!
Yeah.
So
look at that.
did you get first? Was that first?
No, that was the first place guy was on a breakaway. He was 2 minutes down the road.
Right.
I got the guy on my left got second. I got third place.
Oh,
That is so
awesome is
cool.
that?
That
was
is
a great
just so
video.
cool.
That was awesome.
Thank you guys. I really appreciate that.
And but I mean, you said that you can sort of see it from it's similar to Zwift, isn't it? Where there's that little bump and then you hit it there, and you really the guy freewheeling into it he's lost it, hasn't he? You boom.
Yeah,
Absolutely. No, and some of those tactics as far as Zwift is very real. Like in that race, in that video specifically, I sat in the whole time, and I was like, this is kind of boring because my heart rate is normal. I'm not completely gassed right now. Okay, we have 500 meters. The pace is really going to pick up. Okay, we have this one little bump, and then just give it everything you've got to the line. I mean, that's a Zwift race in a nutshell, right?
Yeah.
A crit race, anyways. So.
And I was looking.
Yeah, no, there's definitely some similarities, but there's also some very drastic differences as well.
So, which do you prefer? Do you prefer Zwift racing or outdoor?
Outdoor. There's nothing quite like outdoor and the camaraderie that it brings, and I've come to learn it's a very friendly atmosphere. It looks very intimidating. It looks very elitist, and everyone's looking at each other's bikes and what helmet and sunglasses and this and that, and there's nobody to celebrate with when you win a virtual bike race, and I'm alone in my basement when that happens. When it does happen,
that's it.
But
yeah. Well, unless you're live streaming it, then you got the other two people that are watching. So
yeah, right.
Which is really what happens.
They're real people,
and it's usually just us. It's like the same group of people that follow around all the YouTubers. But
yeah, right.
It is a growing community, that's for sure. And certainly we had on Cabin last week, and we've had a few guys on that actually do have a pretty good following. I mean, I was looking at your numbers there. You've got 540 subscribers, 179 videos. So certainly you're doing something that people are enjoying. That's for sure.
Yeah, well, thank you very much.
Oh, he's such a cool guy. Eric is the coolest, as I said, the coolest guy on Zwift. He brings all the kid lingo in there, your bras and your. I can't think of it all. It's all beyond my generation, but
he's much younger, so of course. How's we were talking just before we started this? How's the challenge going? The 1,000-mile challenge.
So far, it's going pretty well. As of today, I have not yet done my necessary 34 miles that I need to do a day. So today's the first day I've fallen a little bit behind, but I got a couple centuries planned and hoping to move the needle in the coming weeks. So as long as I have good weather, I really have no excuse. Well, I ride indoor. I'm counting indoor miles as well, so
yeah, yep.
I'll get it done one way or another.
How many miles a day that you've got to do?
30 days in the month of June. So if you boil it down, it's 33.333 miles a day, 34 miles a day. That'll take you there. So.
And do you get a chance to ride every day, or is this you sort of only got a few days of the week that you can squeeze this in?
So far I'm squeezing it every day.
Yeah.
And my legs are feeling it, I tell you what.
You'll be fine. You're young and fit. You'll be able to
thank you.
Smash it out.
What was your best race on Zwift?
My best race on Zwift? I've won a couple, not too many though, but no, my best one actually I will say this. It's come to me. It was back in November of this last year. It was stage 4 of one of them. So there was the A and the B. The A was a quick sprint, and then the B was C to Summit or whatever the title of the race was. And I was in a solo breakaway where it was like gravel, and then it's level, and it's paved, and then it's gravel again. And I beat him by 15 full seconds. I was ecstatic that day. That was awesome.
Wasn't that the first one actually?
His first
video?
video?
There was a 4A and a 4B, wasn't there? Or was it 5A and 5B? I can't remember.
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, it was in Mercury, was it? Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I've got it here.
Yep.
Yeah, actually.
Oh, let's get it up.
quickly. I'll just scoot
Just
through
while
to
we're
the
doing
end.
that, maybe you could have a think about what your worst one was, because there's been some other
So is,
mishaps as well, hasn't there?
Where you are, Eric, is it quite flat in the outdoors, or
Yes.
a bit up and down, or?
Very flat. We you got to ride a long ways to find a hill in these parts.
Yeah, right.
Because
So the downside of that is the wind. I've never been in a place in my life where you can make 1,000 turns and you're in a headwind the whole time. Every direction is a headwind. It's really something out here, I tell you what.
You're in Rock Creek there, and you're not that far from. Help me out here. Is it not Pennsylvania?
Yeah, no, Pennsylvania is but 10, 15 minutes away.
Yeah. Okay. Yep. But a small town, so lots of good country riding there.
Yes. Yep.
All right, I've got that video. Let's have a quick look. Is this the one?
Looks like it.
All right.
This is Yorkshire, isn't it?
Just to stay with them, because again, you don't want to lose anybody. You don't want to. You don't want to lose to a breakaway in the last, third of a mile or whatever.
This
we
is the
got.
one.
So here's that green light coming up, and that's kind of what I'm looking for. We're still going
It's
up
not,
3%
but I
grade
do have
here.
a good result on this one, I believe.
YouTube.
So now I'm at the green light, and it just starts to level out. So we go to 2%, then we get to 1%, and then it's only for about 100 yards or so, and I'm ready. My hand is on the power up because I know now that we have that negative 1%, I'm going to try to use that momentum, that extra speed. I hit the power up here, sling myself around the corner. No one's making a move right here. So look, I'm already going. And at this point, it's too late. No one can even catch me at this point. I got like 12.3 watts per kilo, smashing, full gas effort, like holding 750, 800 watts, kind of slowly decreases. No one around me, no one even on the screen. First place finish, baby.
Boom!
Man,
Look at that. Beautiful.
How great was that? Eric, have you done any kind of climbing like that? Traveled anywhere and done any sort of larger rides?
Yeah, actually I have. I lived and worked in Glacier National Park in Montana, way out west here in the U.S. So I did a big climb then, and I was on my hybrid bike, actually. No, it wasn't. I borrowed a friend's road bike. It was some like Alley or something.
Okay.
And then a year or so ago, I was in Great Smoky Mountain National Park, Tennessee.
Wow. Okay.
And I rode another national park, and I rode up to the top of Klingman's Dome, which was a couple thousand feet of climbing there. That was awesome.
Yeah,
at the top, you're supposed to have 360-degree views all around, but they call it Smokies for a reason, and you couldn't see a thing. I was in a cloud.
Right, okay.
You couldn't see a dang thing.
And what's the bear situation like on those rides?
Tennessee, a lot of black bears. I didn't see any on this day. Glacier National Park is actually the most dense population of grizzly bears.
Yeah.
But it's so touristy. This half of the park that I was in is the very touristy part, so you're pretty unlikely to see a bear there, but
that's awesome.
Still possible.
I was going to ask Eric, what's the temperature you guys get? Because it's summer there at the moment for you, isn't it?
Yeah, it's early summer, so these days been pretty cool. This week's about 70 degrees or so, if that, honestly.
Yep. But
Fahrenheit, of course.
Yeah, that old imperial measurement. Really appreciate you joining the show. It's been wonderful talking to you.
Yeah, thanks, Eric. It's been great to meet you.
Yeah, absolutely, guys. Thank you so much for having me on. I'm loving the show. I'm loving what you're doing and bringing some attention to Zwift and cycling and bringing some other people in. It's really exciting to watch and be a part of. So thank you, guys. Appreciate it.